So, the new Sylvester Stallone starring superhero movie Samaritan has just dropped on Amazon Prime, and I watched it this morning, so I'm here to share my thoughts about this film. Let's get into it. So here we have Samaritan. This film comes at us from MGM and Balboa Productions, Sylvester Stallone's own production company. The film has a runtime of 1 hour and 40 minutes and is directed by Julius Avery and written by Bragi F. Shoot. I've probably butchered that name, but there you go. What can you do? The film obviously stars Sylvester Stallone, who we all know and love, as the title character Samaritan. Aka Joe Smith, which is the name he's going by. It also stars a young actor playing a character called Sam Cleary. This young actor's name is Javon Warner Walton. I say that because that's how his name is on IMDb. Somewhat weird, but there you go. These people and their names. And it also stars Pilu Astak, who's an actor I know from Game of Thrones. He played Euron Greyjoy in that. He's also been in Uncharted and a few other films. He plays a character called Cyrus, or the villain of the piece, who wants to take on the role of Nemesis. I say want to take on, I'll get to that. And the film is set in a fictitious city of Granite City. Very sort of superhero-y city kind of name, shall we say, comic booky kind of name. So this film here follows the young Sam Cleary, 13-year-old boy who's living with his mother. He lost his father years ago, but he's got a fascination about this superhero that disappeared some 20 years ago called Samaritan. Yes, now he has this old fella that lives opposite him, played by Sylvester Stallone, who is a garbage truck man, refuse collection, all that sort of stuff, who collects things out of the dustbins and fixes them up and sells them on to pawn shops and this sort of thing. Now, young Sam is obsessed with this Samaritan superhero, so much so that he believes anyone could be him, that he's still out there, that he's still alive, and he's got little charts on who it could be and all this sort of stuff hidden in his room. But he gets involved in some nefarious deeds, some sort of low-level nefarious deeds, should we say, but it leads him to Cyrus's attention, and Cyrus gets a liking for this young boy and wants to use him in his gang and this sort of thing. But at the same time, the young boy gets to learn that Samaritan is actually Sylvester Stallone, or that this old boy is holding this secret, got hold of this secret, and doesn't want anyone to know. Stepped away from this life of the superhero antics, but obviously gets drawn back into it because you have Cyrus, who wants to take on the persona of Nemesis, who's the brother of Sylvester Stallone's character Samaritan, who had died 20 years beforehand, which caused Samaritan to disappear as well. They were enemies but brothers, and this sort of nonsense going on. So yeah, and what's going on in the city brings Samaritan back out of retirement, so to speak, and to help the young boy who he forms a friendship with when the young boy finds out the truth about him and all this sort of stuff. So that's pretty much my take on the film, what the film's about, that sort of thing. So is it any good? Okay, so Sylvester Stallone's always good, he's always a joy to watch. I like Sylvester Stallone as an actor. I like Sylvester Stallone films. This film, it's lacking something. It lacks something. All these straight-to-streaming films, and I've not pinpointed what it is, but they're lacking in something. There's something missing from the recipe, so to speak, and I just ain't put my finger on it yet. And maybe you can help me with that. What is it that's lacking in all these films? They seem to be lacking something. But this film here, it's unfortunate that this film, it feels like it came from an era of superhero films that were made in the early 2000s, the late 1990s, around that sort of era. It doesn't really step above and beyond anything that it does with its visuals, with what it does with the characters or anything like this. The story is somewhat forgettable. Now there is a twist towards the end of the film, and I liked the twist that came with the film. I liked the message that came with the twist. You know, there were elements there that were very good and could have been played into a lot more, that would have elevated the film far more than what it actually ended up being. At the end of the day, all we're left with is this superhero fare that feels like we've seen it all before, done it all before. Like I said, Sylvester Stallone is adequate in the film. He kind of does Sylvester Stallone going through. There's nothing fantastic about him in the film, I would say. The young boy, I'm not sure whether he's an annoyance or not. I'm undecided on that yet. If I watch the film again, I think I'd finally decide where I stand with that character. However, I don't believe this is a film that I'd watch anytime soon. I don't believe it's a film. It's one of those films that I'll watch once and will instantly forget, probably. But I will take my hats off to Pilou Asbak, the actor who played Cyrus or Nemesis, for want of a better character. He was very good. His scenes were very good. He was very good in it. He's the one who comes out as a standout from this film more than anyone else. I enjoyed him as the villain. I think he's got a great screen persona. He did in Game of Thrones as well. He's very likeable, although you don't want to like a villain, but he's very good. He's very good at what he does when he does this sort of a role. The film, effects-wise, visual effects, you're talking about primarily sort of CGI fire and muzzle flashes and this sort of a thing. There are a few CGI scenes with a car being pulled over and this sort of thing, but really it's sort of ground level action, gun shooting, fist fighting, that sort of stuff going on, primarily among anything else. The superhero costumes that they wear in the flashback scenes, they're very much from that era that I said, from the 2000s. It does feel like something from that kind of a time gone by. Unfortunately, in the day and age that we have with the superhero stuff that we are getting, this film is one of those ones that is going to be lost visually and will probably be forgotten very quickly. It's an okay film, but it's a middle of the table sort of film. I mean, it's not a bad film, it's not a fantastic film. It's just, it's very sort of mediocre, middle of the table kind of fare. But that's it, that's all I can say about it. Again, not something I'd consider watching again anytime soon at all, and I'm a big fan of Stallone. I mean, it's great to see him doing work, and I can't knock that. But anyway, so tell me your thoughts on this movie, if you've seen it, or if you're going to see it. Let's chat about it. It's AJ. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.